tomorrow's got a big game on DR Sports. 4:00 we're live with Manchester
sir.
City United. With all of City's injuries, though, does this win for Pep become even more important now because of the poor form plus the injuries? He's got to find a way to win this game tomorrow, surely.
It's more the poor form, I'd say, than it is the injuries. He needs to win. Amrim less so, but Amrim could use a result as well, even if it's just to get some of the fans back on board. But it's such a weird game to call. I've never seen a derby like. So with both the teams in such odd form, I don't really know what to make of it. City started really well against Wolves and it went flat against Brighton. So it stinks of a Man United snatch and grab, if I'm being honest. It does. Like last season, what we saw with Ahmad in the last minute, I could see that happening again. What does that mean for United? Not that much. But yeah, for Pep, he need, and as well. Not that I don't think it really matters anyway. But you lose tomorrow and you're out of the title race completely.
Really?
Yeah, you don't lose. You don't lose 3 games by September.
We know they start poor though.
You don't lose,
but
3
they haven't
games.
lost that many this early.
You do not lose 3 games by September and be in a title race.
Especially if they're not to teams who might be in it, who you get the chance to kind of claw it back on. Like these are like you could lose these and you could lose. The big matchups when they come. I think might be slightly premature, but I see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
I think also what's interesting with City is that the invincible sheen has gone. I think last year you kind of looked at it and thought, okay, they're vulnerable, but that's because of the injuries and the fact that Rodri's there. And I watched the Brighton game, and they probably should have been 3-4-0 up, right? Like they were excellent
had their chances,
in the first half. Haaland should have scored an absolute hatful.
Yeah.
And then you're watching them in the second half and thinking, this doesn't feel like City. Like Rodri's on the pitch, he's not. And look, I'm not saying that he needs to be the best player in the world immediately when he comes back from injury, but like the Brighton are looking at them going, hang on. You feel gettable,
but they need him to be that player again. That's the issue. They need, because like the midfield often feels so empty. And we talked about this. The reason why Rodri won the Ballon d'Or it was clear because Man City was so night and day without him, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's almost a bit of a mistake on their part in the transfer market. I think Reinders and Kovacic in there could do a bit.
That's late.
But you're missing a lot without a Rodri who's at 100%. Is this a red card?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
it won't be.
So they need him there.
Who do you play him alongside? Because I actually do wonder if they go to a 3 in midfield tomorrow and play Reinders as the kind of one furthest forward.
So like a Reinders,
potentially
Rodri,
play like a
Kovacic.
Reinders, Rodri, and maybe like a Nico O'Reilly or a Nico Gonzalez. One of them just to give themselves a little bit more balance in there and maybe take a little bit of pressure off Rodri.
And we're looking at specific matchups in games, and we're seeing who comes out on top. Not like that. Haaland versus Lenny Euro is the first one. Now, as we know, Haaland, let's say, gets frustrated when he plays against centre-backs who are on the front foot, who will put their elbows and hands all over you. Well, who's going to win that battle? Because I actually see potentially Euro doing well there
Euro's
against
really
Haaland.
good. Euro's really, really good. The thing is, I can also see De Ligt getting a hold of Haaland a lot more than Euro potentially, because I just think that's just a more natural fit. I think I think as a collective, we could keep Haaland quite quiet tomorrow, because he hasn't had the best of start in terms of Man City aren't creating a bucket load for him.
Scored 5.
He done well in the
I know,
international break,
but
though.
against Moldova, and also there's I've forgotten his name. Asgard for Norway came on as a substitute and bagged 4. Do you know what I mean? So one of them was a pen, but still a Hattie as a sub against Moldova. So what can you really? And Ødegaard played well for once. So can you really look into it too much?
What? Really?
It's late.
Hey, you lot better win tomorrow, boy.
He's
Also,
taking
Ødegaard
receipts
out.
over here.
Injured.
Yeah. He came out with a buzz card. It didn't last long.
We can all beat Moldova, but we'll be fit the next game, mate. Yeah.
I'll give that one to. I'll back my boy Lenny Euro. I like him a lot.
gonna go Euro?
But again, like I said, De Ligt will help out a lot there.
And again, we're not saying specifically which team will win or something like that. It's this matchup. Who wins the matchup?
I think the first 20 minutes is really important here.
Yeah.
As in, if Haaland gets across him a couple of times the first 20 minutes. And I think, look, what we saw in the Brighton game was you can get frustrated, and it was John Paul Van Hecke just like tearing at him. And he's a little master of the dark arts. Van Hecke.
He likes a little push and a pull.
Yeah, someone will be looking at that next summer, I think. But I think first 20 minutes there, if Haaland gets ahead of it, it's a really, like, that could be a really uncomfortable afternoon for Leny Yoro. But if they keep him quiet for the first sort of 20 or so, I could see Haaland getting frustrated with it.
I don't think Yoro's got a chance with Haaland. I'll be honest. 1v1, physicality wise, experience. He is a goal machine, and as much as Man City have got their frailties at the back, I believe that he would love to score against Man United tomorrow. Yeah. So I can see him kind of being the guy to lead it forward.
I think if he scores one tomorrow, he could get like a break. The floodgates could open.
Yeah, and it also depends who's going to play in goal, who's starting in goal for you. There you go. So for me, I'm looking at that and I'm like,
he could just throw one in the net. The matchup could be him and himself.
Yeah.
Done it before. Yeah. So has Onana. They teach each other.
This is a matchup I'm really looking forward to. Mbeumo versus Ruben Diaz. Tricky, very tricky customer.
He's had a funny start to the season, Diaz. I'll be honest. Yeah, he's
injured as well, I think, wasn't
he? That's why I think Mbeumo wins this battle.
Mbeumo's difficult to mark. I wouldn't like to mark Mbeumo. His movement, over the shoulder, even when he gets the ball down and he dribbles at you, is very hard to stop. So, and he's very smart as well. He picks up really good positions. So, I think Diaz has got his work cut out. I'd probably say Mbeumo. Yeah, I'll say Mbeumo in my opinion.
Score predictions for the game, boys?
I don't know. I think Nick was bang on earlier. Like, it's a really, really weird game to call. Like, in terms of like everything on paper says City just find a way to do this, especially at home, and what you're talking about being a derby earlier, and look, this is one of those things. And as the smaller brother in a like a derby relationship with Chelsea last weekend, for example, like Fulham fans care far more about the game against Chelsea than Chelsea fans do. That's just the long and short of it. And I think considering United's rivalry with Liverpool, like for years, City fans were like, "Oi, what about us?" And now the fact that they're a force within their own right, etc., and obviously it's a one that splits the city. Then that's happened. And I think the City fans, like, this is the one. And I remember talking to City fans for years and then be like, we just we don't really care about the Champions League. This is a while back, but we don't care about that. All we want to do is get ahead of United and finish ahead of United. And I was like, yeah, fair. Like, I totally get that from the perspective of being in the city and understanding the relationships within it. So I think in front of the Etihad tomorrow, in front of that City fans who will be absolutely desperate to make sure that it continues to go the way it's going, I think City win it. I think it's 3-1 City.
They got to win it. Yeah.
I'll go 2-1 City.
I'll go 3-0 City.
3-0 Man City.
Allow it,
Another
man.
big game tomorrow.
That's was the Odegaard comment.
4-0 for the Odegaard comment.